On Modern Ahabs, we set out to brave the open waters of the craft beer industry. In each episode, we'll explore a different, rare, and highly in-demand craft beer known to enthusiasts as whales. We'll meet the breweries who release them into the wild and follow the collectors who chase them. How far would you go to capture your white whale? I'm here at Founders Brewing Company in my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, Beer City, USA, to explore the hype of their most buzzed about brew, Kentucky Breakfast Stout, simply known as KBS. It's so popular that it now demands an entire week of festivities, appropriately declared KBS Week. KBS is a 12.4% imperial stout brewed with stimulating amounts of chocolate and coffee, then cave-aged in oak bourbon barrels for a year. Those barrels are secured underground in old gypsum mines in an undisclosed location somewhere below the streets of Grand Rapids. If you want a chance to catch this whale, you've got to hustle because it's only released once a year. If it wasn't for breweries like them and talented brewers turning out craft masterpieces, whales like KBS would become extinct. Fortunately, Founders has embraced what propels the popularity of a unique aspect in the craft beer industry, so I'm here to talk to them and uncover how it all began. Tell me your version of the story of how KBS came to be.
Breakfast Stout did pretty well. We eventually ramped it up and took it into a production level, and at one point we got our hands on a couple of bourbon barrels. I think two of them showed up, and we thought Breakfast Stout would be kind of a fun beer to try in a barrel there. The idea of having a little bourbon with your breakfast, you know.
Right. It's never a bad idea.
Wow. So we did that, and it came out pretty fun. It was, I thought the flavors went really well together. We found that the barrel aging of it kind of thinned it out a little bit.
Okay.
And a lot of the chocolate and coffee flavor kind of faded with the aging in the barrel. So what we did was kind of ramp up the recipe.
Sure.
We imperialized it.
All right.
You need a little more ass to actually, survive the year in the barrel. So,
right
on. Bumped up that gravity, gave it a little more residual and a little more alcohol from the beer, and we also doubled the chocolate and coffee.
Do you remember what it tasted like, what the initial response was from some of the old school Founders fans?
It wasn't anything crazy. Honestly, once we, that program, it grew kind of slowly. I think, after those two, I think we got 4 barrels the next year, and then maybe up to 16 the next year. Finally, we had enough to do a small run of it. And honestly, I remember those 4-packs sitting in our to-go cooler of the tap room for, I don't even know, weeks, months.
Wow. KBS Week starts today. The first sighting of KBS 2016 is tapped at 5 p.m. right here at Hopcat in downtown Grand Rapids. We're just a few minutes out, so let's go inside and drink some beer.
Thanks for coming down to kick off KBS Week 2016 here at the Hopcat. I want to say it's a great pleasure and honor from all of us that work at the brewery to make this beer for you guys. Thanks so much for enjoying it, and we should probably have a couple beers yet.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers, Hopcat. Cheers, Founders. The first sip of KBS 2016.
You like that? Yeah. You guys are used to it by now.
It's seriously ridiculous. Okay, so I'm here with Rick at Hopcat. Rick's the beer program manager, and probably the reason why they have the reputation they do as one of the world's best beer bars. So tell me, Rick, is it pretty much a no-brainer to host the first tapping of KBS this year?
Absolutely. It's definitely a no-brainer. It's also a great honor to be able to do this. Obviously, it's a very passionate community around here. It's not just the hype. It's people really get behind it. It's kind of a great way to really show, how far we've come as a beer community here in Grand Rapids.
That's awesome. Well, to the culture, to Founders and KBS, and to you and Hopcat for having us, Rick. Thanks a lot, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, brother. All right, I'm here with Matthew and Steven. These guys are from where?
Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, California, but word on the street is you've come a little bit farther than LA to be here at Hopcat right now.
That would be me. I currently live in Guangzhou, China, but I'm here for
Wow,
I'm here for KBS.
You made the trip to Grand Rapids.
Correct. I have never tried KBS before.
Are you serious?
Never.
He's willing to do anything to try KBS.
Anything at all. Anything.
My mind is seriously blown right now. Came from China and he's never had it.
So I guess my first taste is going to be on screen.
This is wild.
Okay.
It's wild.
Steven. Cheers, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers to Founders.
Cheers. I'll give you a second. You don't have to say anything.
All I want to say is I know now. I know now.
Was it worth the trip?
It was worth the trip.
It was worth the trip. Cheers.
Cheers.
So I'm here with another Jason, but this Jason is the VP of, wait for it, this is literally on his business card, VP of lead guitar at Founders. That's how rad this company is. This guy just had the honor of tapping the first keg of KBS this year in the world right here at Hopcat. What was that like?
It's great, I mean, it's a cool experience. I mean, you come down, everybody's really excited. Everybody wants to try the beer, and it's a real privilege for us to be able to do this. I mean, I have a ridiculous job. I should be spreading gravel for a living, but this is what I get to do. So,
Thank you so much for taking the time.
our pleasure, man.
Cheers, Jason.
Cheers.
So listen, before I get out of here, I'm gonna need another pour. I'm gonna get another beer. We'll get on our way. And hey, Scott, right?
Yes.
Dude, what's up?
Give this to you on behalf of Founders
Thank
as
you.
a thank you for your loyal support and launching off KBS Week.
Thank you.
Cheers, bud.
Here, cheers.
Thank you, man.
Oh, that's awesome. How has the dynamic at Founders changed since the introduction of KBS?
Yeah, I mean, KBS is its own animal.
Yeah.
And it's a dynamic that, really, when I think back to the history of KBS, it really just kind of came on to us over the last few years. Even though we've been making KBS for decades. I'm trying to think here. We first made, it was probably early 2000s when we made Breakfast Stout, which ultimately was the precursor to KBS. Right. So you're talking about somewhere around 2003 or so when we started to go down this path. And this just past KBS week, which you got to be a part of, ran into one of our old distributors, and we were talking about how funny it is that just in 2010, they had excess inventory they couldn't get rid of KBS. So
That would never
no, I
happen
know
today.
it's kind of nuts, but that was probably that last year. That was that pivotal year where all of a sudden this beer became a cult following of sorts. And that shift that did kind of occur around that 2010, 2011 time frame for us when it really, really caught on fire.
Breweries often have to release their whales dependent on or at the mercy of availability of ingredients, access to resources, or according to the thresholds of the aging process. This scarcity breeds mystique, and it usually influences a beer's quality. Our second stop tonight on day number 1 of KBS Week is here at Derby Station in the Gaslight Village Business District of East Grand Rapids. They've got a really chill pub atmosphere, but what we're really here for is one of their 30 beers on tap, and you guessed it, it's KBS. So hey, I'm here with Ren, manager of Derby Station, and they are getting ready to host the last tapping on day 1 of KBS Week. The place is obviously starting to fill up. Did you guys have to do anything crazy to prepare for tonight?
Just make sure that we had enough staff on hand for it, and it wasn't hard to do it all because everybody volunteered to work this day.
Yeah.
You know,
I bet everyone's a fan. What do you expect in about 15 minutes here? What's going to happen?
I expect a whole lot of happy faces because we will be starting to dole out every single tulip of the KBS.
Apparently I need to stand on a ladder.
I'm taller.
Folks, my name's Mike Stevens. This is my partner Dave Engbers. You guys, we all live here, so a lot of us know each other, but we're the founders of Founders. This week we're kicking off KBS Week. A lot of us have had this product before, but not a lot of people realize this, but Larry and his partner have been with us probably 18 years, I think. Back at the old brewery when we first started, these guys were one of the first customers we ever had. It's very special for us to be here tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody in Grand Rapids. Dave and I were just home brewers basically, dinking around. And the fact that we're now here doing this, and you folks are all drinking our beers, it's quite an honor. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Appreciate it. We'll be out all this week. Ending in a big party on Saturday. Hope to see you everybody around. We love you, man.
So, I mean, obviously, Founders, you guys are doing great now. What was it that made you share KBS Week with the city?
I remember the last time we did a single release date on a Saturday, but I remember driving by and I thought there'd be, maybe 20, 50 people there, and there was probably 6 people wide all the way around the block. And it was great. All these people bottle sharing, having a great time, which is great. And that's the one thing I really miss about, what we have to do now with this the ticket sales and a weekly release. But to see that camaraderie of beer enthusiasts come together, sharing bottles, sharing all these beers that they've been saving for so long together, I think is one of the coolest things our industry has. That really I don't think any other industry has.
And now we've gone to a place where, I think we had 3,000 tickets sold this year, and there were, our guy that manages the website said easily over 30,000 people hit the website, and within less than
90 seconds?
Literally 1 or 2 minutes it was gone.
So that was kind of the catalyst for KBS Week. And so the whole idea was, one, we have a responsibility to our city. We can't have thousands of people hanging out in the parking lot, drinking beer, peeing outside. We're bringing a lot of people into West Michigan, into Grand Rapids. And what can we do to highlight our best customers, the people that have been supporting Founders and craft beer in general? And so we came up with this concept. So when people come in, it forces them to see all the hidden gems that we have in our community. And it's been great.
Guys, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
No, it really has been, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys taking the time. first times when you would see people like light up the first time they experienced KBS? What was that like?
I've probably seen more smiles after tasting that beer than any other one we've done. So I think it's just that different, that interesting, maybe what people aren't expecting. And I think people that do have expectations, it generally delivers, it generally lives up to that. And, pretty cool. The first year that we had a line out the door, I was like, wow, people are actually serious about this. Right. And then that line kept growing every year until it wraps around the building, and you're just like, I can't believe this.
The popularity of KBS finally caught up with Founders in 2013. So much, in fact, that they had to transition to an online ticketing system just to manage its demands. It was new for Founders at that time and maybe even a little uncomfortable for their fans, but it was a change that had to happen. Although I can't tell you how many pre-sale tickets were actually sold, what I can tell you is that if you weren't in front of your computer at the exact moment they went on sale, you missed out. And you should probably get in line right now for the taproom release party. So I'm here with Troy, just met him in line, and he's got kind of a really unique story to tell. Troy, how far did you come today to Grand Rapids to get your KBS?
Came today from Atlanta, Georgia. I live in Marietta.
Wow.
So,
have you ever had KBS before?
I have. 3 years ago in Atlanta, got to try it. You don't get to try it very often, but got to try a bottle of it, fell in love with it. And I decided to come last year to the KBS week, got a ticket, showed up, got some beer, and it was so much fun here in the town and at the brewery. I decided to come back again this year. So.
That's such a cool story. So are you hanging out for the taproom release party tomorrow?
Unfortunately, I got to get home. It's my 11th wedding anniversary tomorrow, and I'm gonna fly out early in the morning so I can be there in time to take my wife out to dinner. And
that's pretty incredible. I'd say you're probably a hero on two fronts. You're bringing back KBS, and you're back for your wedding anniversary.
There we go, man.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time, Troy.
No problem. Thanks.
All right, cheers. I honestly went through the process myself. I was lucky enough to get a ticket. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna stand in line right now and get my bottles. I cannot wait any longer. Got it. And seriously, if I would get arrested, I would totally crack one of these and drink it right now. Yeah. Thanks. Cheers, guys. Right on. I'm here in the Grand Rapids neighborhood of East Hills at the Winchester. It's an intimate gastropub that immediately feels familiar. They have a draft list of nearly 20 local rotating craft specialties, but tonight the focus is on just one. KBS is about to be tapped. So Dave, first, thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely, pleasure.
Winchester has tapped KBS before during KBS week?
Oh yes, several times.
Have you guys had to do anything out of the ordinary to prepare for it?
KBS week is always out of the ordinary. We had to purchase an extra 150 glasses just to make sure that we had enough for this event. And I've been running around pretty much constantly all day for the last 2 days getting ready for it. And it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I have a feeling here, in maybe a half an hour, it's going to go from 0 to 60 really quick.
Yes, it will.
What's your idea? What's your guess on how long it's going to take before the keg will blow?
The last time I did this, it took 27 minutes exactly.
27 minutes? 27
minutes.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, 1,984 ounces in 27 minutes.
As far as being a neighborhood bar that people really love coming to, what's it do? What does KBS and Founders do for the community?
What that does for the community here is it pulls everyone in together and lets them visit all these other little local spots just to see a taste.
I agree. We met some people already this week who had never had KBS, weren't from Grand Rapids, and the second they tasted it, they knew why they drove all this way to be here.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, to the unordinary and to 27 minutes. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers.
Thanks. I'm here with my new friends Mike, Joe, and John, and these guys are not from Grand Rapids. Gentlemen, where are you from? Philadelphia. And word on the street is you made the drive to be here in Grand Rapids all because of KBS?
That's correct. That is correct.
And another fun fact, you've never had the stuff?
First time. Right here in front of us.
Why are we waiting? Gentlemen,
cheers.
to your first KBS.
KBS.
Cheers, guys.
That's amazing. It's perfect. That's very good.
It's good, right?
Smooth.
Perfect.
Smooth, perfect flavor.
Was it worth the drive?
Absolutely.
And before I let you guys finish your first glass of KBS ever, will we see you back next year for KBS week?
High probability.
Yeah.
Never do you get to see such truly great fans of Founders than when you go out to those events that week, because these are the real core fans. These are the ones that get it. And they come from all over, and they're, 21 to age 65. And it's really, I think, rewarding for us to kind of see that, what this brewery has built and what all the people that are, that work here and have been a part of for so many years, it comes to that kind of week and those events, and it wraps it all up in one nice frickin' party that's just an absolute blast.
KBS Week culminates tomorrow with the annual taproom release party, but not before we tackle one more timed tapping here at the Meanwhile, an anchor destination on Wealthy Street. It's a popular local hangout with a bar selection rooted in Michigan craft beer, spirits, and cider. You'll always find this place packed with people who dig the jukebox loud and classic arcade games. Decorated by co-owner Jeff Vandenberg's art that pits dinosaurs versus robots, it's the perfect spot to tap one last keg of KBS before tomorrow's big event. This is Ryan. Ryan, where are you from?
Bucks County, PA.
And you came all the way to Grand Rapids, Michigan for what?
For KBS and potentially CBS.
Right on. Yes, another fine beer from Founders. What's the drive for you guys?
About 11 hours.
11 hours.
Yeah.
Who'd you come with?
Came with my brother and two buddies.
So obviously you did it last year. That's telling me KBS was good enough for you to come back?
Very good. I've been chasing KBS for probably 7 or 8 years now. But I wanted to come up here and kind of experience the brewery and the town. So it's more than just coming up for KBS. It's to check out Founders, my favorite brewery, and enjoy the city.
What makes Beer City USA is all of us who drink this great beer that any brewery from Grand Rapids makes. So thank you. Enjoy the night.
Today's the day we've all been waiting for, the taproom release party for KBS. As you can tell, the line behind me was here a lot earlier than we were, and it's already wrapping the entire block. Let's go hear what they have to say. So I'm here in line with 3 guys I just met who have traveled to KBS's taproom release from another country. When did you get in town?
Last night. Or well, yesterday afternoon actually arrived.
Oh, so you've got bottles of KBS?
We managed that as well, yeah.
You want to dare tell me how many bottles you're walking away with?
Just the 12. I was the only one fortunate enough cracked the code that weekend a month ago.
Yeah, so you know they sold out in less than 90 seconds.
It was pretty quick. They found that
It
out.
felt like that. So you've got 12. You've got 2 buddies with you. What are you going to do with the 12 bottles?
My arm hurts from the twisting, and we're going to share them.
Nicely done. Well, I'm lucky enough to be here with my new friend Cece, who's the first person in line at the taproom release party. Cece, how early did you have to get up this morning to be here?
4:30.
That's what time your alarm went off?
That's what time my alarm went off.
What time were you in line?
6:26.
So you know it to the minute.
I check every time.
So, have you had KBS before?
All the time.
You had
every year.
You've had all the KBS all the time.
I've had from 2011 and on.
So you've been first in line before?
I've been first in line for 3 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So it's got to be for the love of the beer, right?
Yep, it's my beer Christmas. Every year.
This morning's your beer Christmas.
It's my beer Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you.
If you walked away with bottles this year, what would you do? If you had the full allotment of 12 bottles, how would you split those bottles? What would you do with them?
Split them? I wouldn't split them. They're all for me. I mean, oh, what are you talking about?
Where great craft beer is brewed, enthusiasts will follow. These modern day Ahabs are on the hunt for their own personal white whale. These fanatics, these diehards, will go out of their way in their journey to cross off their bucket list beers. And they do it all for the love of the craft. So I'm inside a little early before the doors open, and I'm pretty sure that this is the calm before the storm. Let's go have some fun. So I'm here with 2 friends from Chicago who have made the trip all the way to Grand Rapids, Michigan for, you guessed it, KBS. This is Amy. This is her dear friend Mark. Amy, so what's the story? Why Founders? Why KBS?
I'm a huge lover of Breakfast Stout, and I tried KBS for the first time last year, and it was a goal of 2016 to make it up for KBS week.
So say that again. Your goal of this year was to make it here for KBS week?
Yeah, among other goals that I have in my life, but KBS week was one of the top ones.
That's incredible. So obviously we're sitting here at Founders. There's no KBS in front of you. Please tell me you got a ticket for bottles.
I did.
Paint that picture for me, because you know I got a ticket myself for Tuesday, and I know what I did to get that ticket. What did your place look like the morning tickets went on sale?
Oh my goodness, I had his computer set up, I had my computer set up, and I kept on hitting refresh with both of my hands until I could finally try to get the ticket, and then I scored 1 ticket.
1 ticket. So you know those tickets sold out in less than 90 seconds?
Yes, I'm fully aware.
So we're a couple of the lucky few, right?
Yes, we are.
So when are you getting your bottles?
As soon as we're done with this.
We converged on Grand Rapids, Michigan in our pursuit of this episode's whale, KBS. To all of our fellow modern Ahabs we met along the way, in their journey to capture their bucket list beer, we raised our glasses in a final toast. Any fool can circumnavigate the world sober, but it takes a brave enthusiast to do it with a beer in hand. Cheers. Visit modernahabs.com for exclusive online-only content and to vote for which craft whales we should hunt next. I want to hear about your journey to capture your bucket list beers and what you thought about this episode's whale. Follow us on social media and share your story at Modern Ahabs.